Hi, James with the 1 Hour Smart Home, and today we're going to teach you how to use your Nest Thermostat and all the features of the Nest Thermostat. So the first thing you need to know is that to wake up the Nest Thermostat, there is a toggle button. So you press down here at the bottom, and that lets you go into menu settings and stuff like that. And then the other way you control Nest is to rotate the dial. So those are the two primary control interfaces. So what's on the home screen here? Well, it says the current temperature with this white line here. So it's 71 degrees currently. The heat is set to 65. So my heat will turn on when it gets to 65 degrees. Now, what is this green leaf down at the bottom? Well, it means that I have my thermostat set to an environmentally friendly temperature, or a temperature that will help me save energy. Okay, so let's get into the settings and menu of this. Now, I just click the bottom and that allows me to get into the settings menu. This first item here, that's just a back arrow to go to the home screen. Next thing I can do is change the mode. I can look at eco mode. I can look at my active temperature sensors or room sensors. My fan control is here. I can create a schedule in this item. I can look at my history and usage of heating and cooling. And last but not least, I can change the settings. So let's go up here to the top and go through each one of these. If I want to change the mode from heating to cooling, all I need to do is click on this mode symbol, and now I have options to change it into the different settings. I can go to cooling if it was the summertime or I lived in a warm climate, or I can go to heat and cool, or I could turn the thermostat completely off. One of the things a lot of people get confused about is the heat and cool mode. So I'm going to click on that and show you what it is. All right, I'm going to turn this down. Heat when it gets to 66 and cool when it gets to 78. So what we have here is the heat cool mode. And basically what this is it allows you to set a range for your home. So when it gets to 66, the heat will turn on. And when it gets to 78, the cooling will turn on. Now I can adjust this range down or up. So let's say I want to have a really tight range here. We'll just put it at 70. And then I want to have my cooling turn on when I get to, let's say 73. So my house would always stay between those temperatures. The heat would turn on at 70 and the cooling would turn on at 73. This is really good if you live in a place with moderate temperatures or in between seasons, maybe like in the spring or fall. So let's close out of this and go back. We'll go back to that mode setting. If I wanted to go to cool, I would just click on that, and now it's going to put my air conditioner on. We're going to turn that off though because it is wintertime and I don't want to have the AC on, so I'm going to move it back to heat. All right, back in the menu settings, I'm going to click on the next thing, eco mode. It says, do you want to start eco temperatures? Yes, I do, but let's look at more info so that you can understand what it is. Save energy by using eco temperatures when no one's home, or turn them on manually at any time. What the eco temperature is a temperature that your Nest thermostat will go to that is designed to save you energy, whether it's in the summer or the winter, and if you have it in heating or cooling mode. So if I were to click start eco mode, it would turn my thermostat down to 57 degrees and help me save energy because my heating would not be on. Now the eco mode can be activated in a couple different ways. You can have it automatically activated when you leave the house, or the Nest detects that you're away with the built-in motion sensor down at the bottom, or by using your phone's GPS location. Now, I can also just turn on eco mode as I just showed you, but when you're choosing eco mode settings, it's generally a good idea to choose the temperature that you are comfortable with when you come back to your home, if it's going to be a little bit too hot or too cold. And obviously in eco mode, you don't want to set your temperature so low that your pipes would freeze. So here I've got mine set to 57. That's no problem when I'm away. Now let's click on the active sensor. Not all of you are going to have this, but the active sensor is when you have room sensors for the Nest thermostat. I love these things. I have a couple of them. Right now I just have one connected, but they allow you to monitor the temperature in other parts of your home with the Nest Thermostat, and you can also control the thermostat and set it to a particular temperature with that sensor. So I typically have one of those sensors located in my master bedroom, and it allows me to change the temperature and make it precisely what I want every night when I go to sleep. So let's click out of this and go backwards. This thermostat, done. All right. Now I'm going to click on the next one here in the inline schedule or in the app, and it's the fan. So it says turn to set. What the fan is if you have your fan wire connected to your thermostat, what this will do is run the fan to just circulate air within your home. So you can choose it in 15-minute increments, 1 hour increments, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 8, 12, and 24. So what this does is allows, if you don't want to have your heating and cooling on, you could just turn your fan on, and that's going to help circulate air, which is nice on a moderate day. Or if you want to have more heating and cooling, a lot of people use the fan to continually circulate air, which makes for more even heating and cooling throughout your house because it's distributing the air a little bit better even when your HVAC system is not on. Okay, so we're going to turn that off so it doesn't make a whole bunch of noise for the video. Stop fan and go to the next setting. What we've got here is schedule, and I'm not going to show you all the features that you can do with a schedule, but if you were to click on a temperature, you go here, you click change, and then you can go time, and once you select the time that you want the temperature to be, it will then let you choose the temperature that you want to set it at. So we have another video on how to manually schedule the Nest Thermostat or how to schedule a Nest Thermostat from your phone, so go ahead and check that out. I'll throw a link in the video below. All right, and we're just going to do cancel and go back here. And then to get out, I need to scroll all the way back over to the menu, and that will take me back to the main menu. All right, now this is something that I find very interesting. This is the history and usage of your thermostat. So it displays a little bar that shows you how much time you had your HVAC system on any given day. So yesterday it was pretty cold here. My HVAC system was on for 2 hours. I can look at Monday, I can look at the weekend, and just keep going back. And whenever you get a leaf up here at the top, it means that you were saving energy based on the current conditions. So let's see if we can take a more precise view of this, and it will show you exactly when your thermostat was on. Energy usage was around average. This was around the weekly average. Okay, fine. But it is a good way to be conscious of your energy usage and help you save both energy and money. So we're going to go back, click done, and to get out of this, we have to scroll all the way over back to this thermostat menu, and I can now go into settings. Okay, what we've got here is a variety of different settings for your thermostat. Home away assist. It says automatically use those eco temperatures when no one's home. So right now I have it set to use the eco temperatures when no one's home, but you could say no, you don't want to. Eco mode is that temperature we selected earlier that will help us save energy when we're away from the house. So mine is set to 57. I'm just going to click done. This allows you to adjust what your eco temperatures are. So my eco temperature in the winter is 57 degrees. I'll let my house get down that cold before the thermostat turns on when I am away. In the summer, I just have it cool to off. Now, for me, most of the time it's pretty moderate here, so no problem. I'll just open up the windows. But if you live somewhere very hot, you would obviously want to change that cool to something maybe a little bit lower, like 80 or 75 even. All right, we're going to click done. And then the next thing is safety temp. So this is the lowest it will ever let your thermostat get, even if you've got this thing turned off. And basically what I've got is the safety temperature is at 45. It's going to turn on the HVAC no matter what the settings are so that my pipes don't freeze. Just something to note there. You could also set one for cooling if it was a very humid area and you didn't want things to get way too hot. Click done. I'm going to click on sensor schedule, okay? So what this allows you to do is switch between your thermostat and your room sensor in which one you want the Nest thermostat or your HVAC system to hold to. So if you had one of these sensors in your bedroom, you could say, during the day, I want the thermostat to control the temperature, but at night, I want the temperature sensor to be what's controlling the temperature in my home so that it's precisely the temperature I want when I'm going to sleep at night. To do that, you would just click here and you could change which one you want this to use. So I could go to the garage. I'm just going to leave it on this and then click done. Fan schedule. This allows you to schedule a fan, so you could run it 24/7 here, or you could just run it during certain times of the day. But we're just going to go through this. You can see, you click here, and you can change what times you want to have the fan running. All right, we're going to click back because we do not want to change that. All right, Nest Sense. Now, this is a lot of the smart features of the Nest Thermostat. We've got auto schedule up here at the top. It says, should auto schedule learn from your adjustments? I've got no on because I have a schedule that I really like, but the auto schedule is great if you just want to get started with a way to save energy and for the Nest to kind of learn your daily habits. It understands when you turn it up and down, and if you go to work every day at a certain time, it's going to try and adjust the temperature and the schedule to what you like. Let's click on time to temperature. The time to temperature estimates how long it will take your thermostat to reach a target temperature. What the Nest does with this is it calculates how long it takes for your house to heat up and down, and then it will tell you that it takes maybe 15 or 30 minutes to go up a degree or two, and it's just a way that the Nest will let you know how long it's going to take for your temperature to change. It's a nice little feature, and it will populate on the thermostat and on the app. Early on, should your thermostat preheat and pre-cool or start heating and cooling as scheduled? So, with that time to temperature setting, what happens is if you want it to be exactly 72 degrees at 5 p.m., the Nest will preheat your home so that maybe the heating and cooling turns on at 4:30, so when you get home at 5 p.m., it's exactly the temperature you want. If you have it set to on schedule, it's just going to start heating or cooling your home at 5 p.m., so it might be a couple degrees off until the temperature cools down from your HVAC system. We're just going to click on here, on schedule, and then go back, cool to dry. Now, this is something that if you live in a really humid climate, you're definitely going to want to check out. This allows you to use your thermostat to reduce the cooling in a high humidity area. So I don't have that much humidity where I live, but if you lived in a place like Florida or somewhere where it's really humid, you would definitely want to turn that feature on so that you can kind of get the humidity out of your house while you're cooling. And it's a really good feature, and I have used it a ton in areas where it is more humid. So let's go back to what we were doing here, Nest Sense, cool to dry. Let's look at sunblock. Use sunblock when the sun is shining on this thermostat. Right now I have no because this thermostat is not in the sun. But let's say you live in a house that has a really big southern exposure and the sun is shining on it. That's going to heat up this Nest thermostat. And what that does is it retards the temperature of the Nest thermostat a couple of degrees so that it's not too hot or sensing that it's too hot and turning the air conditioning on and going up too high or too low. It basically decides or is able to sense that there's too much sun on this and it's heating up the thermostat. If you've ever touched something black or metallic in the sun, you know that it's hot, and it just takes that into account and calculates it so that it's not too hot when this thing is in the sun. So I'm going to say no there. But if yours was in the sun, you would definitely want to use that. Leaf. The leaf appears when you have adjusted the thermostat to an energy saving temperature. Okay, great. It's just a way to know that you are having a environmentally friendly and energy saving use of your Nest thermostat. Let's click on airwave. Now, this is one of those features that I really like that people don't always know about. Should your thermostat use airwave to save energy while running the air conditioning? I say yes. What airwave does is it actually turns your AC off, the AC compressor off outside, but continues to circulate air through your home so that you're getting the most energy efficient use of that system. And why is that? Well, the fan in your HVAC system uses very little energy. The thing that uses the majority of the energy is actually the compressor and condenser on your HVAC system. So airwave turns off the compressor, but since you still have cold fluid and everything circulating through there, the fan will try and extract that cold air through the system and just be more energy efficient. So we're gonna click airwave on and go to the next one. Done. So we're all the way through all the Nest settings items there. Now, reminders, air filter. Your thermostat will remind you to change your air filters. I highly recommend doing this because you need to change your air filters every 6 months. Depending on where you live, if your HVAC system is running a lot, you should change it even more often than that. But changing your air filters is one of the best ways to keep your HVAC system running, and it's a very inexpensive maintenance item. So it says remind me. I just leave that on there, and we'll go to the next. So not all of you will have this, but if you have a Nest Protect, it will work with your Nest thermostat. And if smoke or carbon monoxide is detected, it will automatically shut off your HVAC system. And why is that important? Well, your HVAC system could be the source of fire or carbon monoxide, so it will prevent that from spreading. But also, when you turn off the HVAC system, it's not going to blow that smoky air throughout your house. So that's something that you really want to have. So this works with the Nest Protect and the Nest Thermostat. It's just a nice little feature that they added for safety. So I highly recommend that if you have one of these, that you have this set up and your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors will work with your HVAC system to prevent fire from spreading. All right, display. This allows you to have different things that you can display when this turns on. It says use Farsight. So I have that on. In Farsight, basically there's a little motion sensor down here, and when you walk by, it's going to show you the temperature so that you will see what's going on. I typically use that because I want to know what's going on when I walk by, and then I don't even have to touch it and it'll just display it. So we're going to click through that, but you can see all these different things that you can display on your Nest thermostat display. I recommend using the Farsight feature. All right, next one is brightness. I like to have it on a high brightness so I can see it. You can see that's low, medium, high, or auto. The auto setting uses a little sensor in the Nest to determine the ambient light levels, and then will control the thermostat. Click sound, you can probably hear this, maybe you can't, but there's a little sound that makes noise when I go back and forth like this. It's just kind of like a texting sound, so something that I recommend using. Now, let's say you want to change from Fahrenheit to Celsius. You can do so right here just by clicking on that. I'm going to leave it on Fahrenheit. You can change the date and time. You can change the language here, so I'm just going to leave it on English, but you can see the variety of languages you can use there. The Nest app is connected, nothing there. You can see your location, network, and then lock. We have another video on this, but the lock setting will allow you to use a pin to keep it between a certain number of degrees. Let's say you've got tenants or you just don't want your kids messing around with this. You can